So along with hello, are you hearing me?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So hydroponic, I think one thing in agriculture, when we are talking about agriculture and also sustainable agriculture and climate resilient agriculture, I think important aspect is just the cost benefit analysis of such technology. Then when we are talking about the cost benefit, because for the farmer, it is very important that at the end, they get the high yield and all these things. But when they calculate so the net income which is coming to the farmer, I think that is very, very important because when we are talking about the farmer and the adoption, then it will be increased and demonstrated to the people and they will adopt it and will apply in the field. But if that cost benefit analysis is doubtful and there is a problem in it, so I think we should think over it and we should see ourselves that whether we are confident on this hydroponic promotion or not. So I think my experience is that hydroponic is a new technology, and it's especially for the area where the people are facing problem with the soil. They have no soil and they have space issues and all these things. So I think for them it's very good that you can promote the hydroponic and they can grow fresh vegetables and other things in the hydroponic technology, and they can get some fresh vegetables from it. But as far as its commercial application is concerned, so I think there are many questions which needs to be addressed. So I think one of my recommendation is that when we are talking about the smart agriculture practices, so there are so many other practices. Hello?
हाँ अभी हो गए हम भी शुरू उसमें ये कैमरा जस्ट होता नहीं सर आप जैसे बोलें अब ठीक है ठीक है ठीक है बल्कि मैं
अस्सलाम
तो
वालेकुम जी।
इधर बोलूंगा ना इस डिवाइस में
तो आपकी सारी वॉइस चार्ज कर हो गए। अभी स्टार्ट करते हैं टाइम
I think they don't know. They need to mute their mic.
Hello.
अस्सलाम वालेकुम नीका टीम, अस्सलाम वालेकुम, वी कैन हियर यू।
सलाम करेंगे ये इसको जरा जी अस्सलाम वालेकुम
वालेकुम सलाम।
जी सर आप सबका बहुत शुक्रिया बस सेशन थोड़ी देर में ही स्टार्ट हो जाएगा सर
ओके ओके
एमडी साहब की मीटिंग थी मिनिस्टर साहब के साथ तो वी आर वेटिंग फॉर देम अभी आते हैं तो उनका जरा ओपनिंग चूंकि किताब है तो उसके बाद हम फॉर्मली इंशाल्लाह प्रोग्राम शुरू कर लेंगे
ओके
Khalid Sahab, I think Khalid Sahab, you continue. You can continue. Khalid Sahab, kindly.
जी
आप बात कर रहे थे.
खालिद साहब आपका बहुत शुक्रिया आपने बड़ी दूर से हमें ज्वाइन किया सर थैंक यू वेरी मच और आप प्लीज कंटिन्यू करें तब तक आप रहे हम भी सुनते हैं आपकी बात तो फिर फॉर्मली हम
Right.
स्टार्ट करते हैं प्रोग्राम बाद में
The meeting is not yet started, huh?
यस 11:30
The hosts are not here.
हाँ ये असल में सर 11:30 है टाइम जो स्केड्यूल के मुताबिक तो ये अच्छा है कि पहले आप आ गए हैं तो चले हम कोई डिस्कशन कर सकते हैं इस पे भी ये तो जितना टाइम मिल जाए अच्छा होता है सर
Yeah.
सर बल्कि थोड़ा सा अगर ब्रीफ इंट्रोडक्शन सब करवा दें माई सेल्फ फरहान पाशा डिप्टी डायरेक्टर एग्रीकल्चर नीका
Acha, yeah. Ji. I'm from Sarhad Rural Support Program and representing SRSP here. And I'm working for the last 12 years with this RSP and looking after the natural resource management and climate change, and also associated with the project which is funded by the European Union, and that is Peace 2, where we are working on the renewable energy and also the climate resilient land resource management and private sector development and all these activities. This is an extension of the phase 1 of Peace project, which was in Malakan division. And now
Yes, sir.
in this projects also there are 3 merged districts, the north, south, and other merged districts are also included in this programs.
Great, sir. Thank you very much. So next.
Well, I can introduce myself. I'm Dr. Shakil from CAB International. Can you hear me?
Sir, yes, please. Thank you very much, sir, for your participation. आपकी आवाज आ रही है सर, आप बोलें प्लीज.
Okay, thank you. So I'm Shakil from CAB International, and I work as a program management coordinator at KB, and basically I'm by training I'm an entomologist. It's long time. I'm attached here in KB, like it's 27 years. I'm in KB. From last 6 years, I'm directly working with Asian Development Bank as a team lead for implementation of different projects in Punjab, KP, Sindh, and Balochistan. So I have the portfolio of Asian Development Bank. So I work basically on different kinds of climate resilient agriculture kind of projects. So this is my background.
तो थैंक यू वेरी मच. मैं सर थोड़ा सा नीका का भी आपको इंट्रोडक्शन दे देता हूँ. बेसिकली जो नीका का मैंडेट है, नीका मींस नेशनल एफिशिएंसी एंड कंजर्वेशन अथॉरिटी. ये मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ एनर्जी का एक इदारा है. तो उसमें सर 7 डायरेक्टोरेट्स हैं इसके. बिल्डिंग है, ट्रांसपोर्ट है, इंडस्ट्री है, इस तरह से. इसी तरह से एक सेक्टर एग्रीकल्चर है इसमें. सर आप मुझे सुन पा रहे हैं?
जी.
ओके. तो लाइक अदर सेक्टर सर, हमारा भी जो मैंडेट है, हमने ये देखना है कि एग्रीकल्चर सेक्टर में एनर्जी को हम किस तरह एफिशिएंटली यूज कर सकते हैं और किस तरह से कंजर्व कर सकते हैं. ये नीका का मैंडेट है एग्रीकल्चर सेक्टर में. हमने इस पे थोड़ी सी स्टडी की है. हमारे पास इवन के जो इरिगेशन सिस्टम को ही अगर हम ले लें तो उसमें सर हमारे पास कोई 38 बिलियन ईयरली हम सेव कर सकते हैं सिर्फ एनर्जी एफिशिएंसी की वजह से. सर ये आरिफ साहब हैं, एडीबी से रिटायर्ड हुए हैं, एशियन डेवलपमेंट बैंक से. और अभी हमने इनको रिक्वेस्ट की है स्पेशल, और हमें ये बड़ा गाइड भी कर रहे हैं और इनकरेज भी कर रहे हैं, साथ हर तरह की असिस्टेंस भी दे रहे हैं कि जो एग्रीकल्चर को हमने लेके चलना है अंडर द अम्ब्रेला ऑफ नीका, उसको हम किस तरह से एक्शनेबल कर सकते हैं. कुछ प्लान्स भी ये लेके आए हैं और इनका एक बड़ा स्ट्रॉन्ग पोर्टफोलियो भी रहा है एडीबी में, चूंकि और एग्रीकल्चर सेक्टर को भी बड़ी अच्छी तरह समझते हैं. तो सर आप थोड़ा सा अपना बता दें.
जी मैं ऐसा तैयब मेरा नाम है जी. मैं एडीबी में था कोई 2020 तक, 17-18 साल. एग्रीकल्चर, नेचुरल रिसोर्सेज, वाटर, इन एरियाज पे ज़्यादा काम था. तो बेसिकली वो मेरा बैकग्राउंड है. बाकी नीका के साथ जो एसोसिएशन है, जो नीका के हेड है, उनके साथ बड़ा पुराना एक ताल्लुक भी है और अच्छे वो इंटरेस्टिंग चीज़ें कर रहे हैं. तो इस वास्ते मेरा दिल था कि जैसे ज़रक है या और यंग हमारे प्रोफेशनल्स हैं, वो इनसे इंटरेक्ट करें, साथ के आगे पार्टनरशिप्स हम डिस्कस करें, क्या पॉसिबिलिटीज़ हैं स्केल अप करने की. और फरहान के साथ जो भी काम कर सकें वो इनके साथ शुरू कर रहे हैं. थैंक यू सो मच.
ये सर इनकी बड़ी अच्छी गुडविल है कि ये हमें बड़ा गाइड कर रहे हैं और सपोर्ट कर रहे हैं, क्योंकि एग्रीकल्चर सेक्टर और एनर्जी को कोरिलेट करना इजी नहीं था. मेरा चूंकि बैकग्राउंड एग्रीकल्चर का है तो एनर्जी मेरे लिए एक नया सब्जेक्ट था, लेकिन इनकी गाइडेंस से काफ़ी कुछ चीज़ें हमने समझी हैं, कुछ एक्शन प्लान बनाए हैं. तो मैं सर ये बात कर रहा था कि अगर हम अपने जो हमारे ट्यूबवेल्स हैं, इनके ऊपर जो हमने इंजन लगाए हैं, इनकी एफिशिएंसी को ही अगर हम कंसीडर करें तो कोई 60%, मोर देन 60% ट्यूबवेल इंजन आर इनएफिशिएंट इन एनर्जी कंजप्शन. तो अगर हम इन्हीं को ट्यून अप कर लें या किसी अच्छे एफिशिएंट इंजन के साथ रिप्लेस कर दें, तो ये सर हमने कैलकुलेट किया है कोई 6 बिलियन पाकिस्तानी रुपीस हम सेव कर सकते हैं एनुअली, एक साल में. इसी तरह से दूसरा बड़ा जो हमारा फील्ड ऑपरेशन है वो है ट्रैक्टर, जिसमें हम प्लोइंग और प्लंकेट और ट्रांसपोर्टेशन भी जिसके साथ करते हैं. तो उसमें भी सर फिगर इसी तरह का है. आउटडेटेड है हमारे ट्रैक्टर, ज्यादातर एनर्जी एफिशिएंट नहीं है. तो उनको भी अगर हम ट्यून अप करें और या कोई उनको रिप्लेस करना तो खैर पॉसिबल नहीं है एट वंस, तो ग्रेजुअली रिप्लेसमेंट या ट्यून अप अगर हम उनको करते हैं तो सर 38 बिलियन हम एनुअली सेव कर सकते हैं सिर्फ ट्रैक्टर की मद में, जो हम अपने फील्ड ऑपरेशन में यूज करते हैं। फिर इसी तरह ये जो, जी सर, सर मैं सुन नहीं पाया, रिपीट करेंगे प्लीज। तमाम अफसर साहब को बुलाइए। तो हाल चल रही है।
Yes, we can hear you.
ओके सर, थैंक यू थैंक यू। तो इस तरह के सर इंटरवेंशन हम कर रहे हैं कि एनर्जी को एग्रीकल्चर सेक्टर में किस तरह से एफिशिएंटली यूटिलाइज किया जा सकता है, यूज किया जा सकता है। उसमें सिर्फ मशीनरी ही नहीं, एग्रीकल्चर प्रैक्टिसेस भी हैं, लाइक हाइड्रोपोनिक जो आज हमारा टाइटल है आज के वेबिनार का, ये भी उसी कड़ी की एक समझ लें बीड है। और इसमें हमारे साथ एक्सपर्ट्स बैठे हुए हैं एकेडेमिया से भी, और एंटरप्रेन्योर भी हैं ये हमारे साथ मौजूद हैं जो प्रैक्टिकली कर रहे हैं। तो वो बताएंगे कि इसमें कितनी एनर्जी कम यूज करना पड़ती है। तो ये सर ना सिर्फ एक नई टेक्निक है एग्रीकल्चर के लिए, इसमें दो तीन बेनिफिट्स हैं। एक तो आप अर्बन एग्रीकल्चर कर सकते हैं, आपको एक छोटा सा स्ट्रक्चर चाहिए होगा और उसके अंदर आप अपनी वेजिटेबल्स ग्रो कर सकते हैं। अब जैसे जैसे आबादी बढ़ रही है दुनिया में, लैंड होल्डिंग कम होती जा रही है। और दूसरा जो है कि जब आप आउटडोर एक्टिविटीज करते हैं तो आप जो नेचर है उसके रेमो करम पे भी होते हैं। लाइक अभी जैसे बहुत सारा फ्लड आया है बहुत सारे एरियाज में, तो काफी नुकसान हुआ है। तो ये एक प्रोटेक्टेड स्ट्रक्चर के अंदर आप कर रहे होते हैं, तो आउटडोर क्लाइमेट इसको ज्यादा इफेक्ट नहीं करता। तो इसमें बड़ी डिटेल से सर आज डिस्कशन होगी, आप लोगों का भी इंसाइट्स चाहिए होंगे इसमें। इसके अलावा भी एग्रीकल्चर में कहाँ कहाँ हम एनर्जी एनर्जी कंजर्वेशन के हवाले से काम कर सकते हैं, आपके आइडियाज हमारे लिए बड़े वैल्यूएबल
थोड़ा सा
होंगे।
इंट्रोड्यूस कराएंगे बेटा, कौन कौन लाइन पर है?
जी सर। सर एक दफा दोबारा प्लीज फजल मलिक साहब आप भी अपना इंट्रोडक्शन दे दें। खाली साहब आपसे भी मैं रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा एक दफा दोबारा छोटा सा ब्रीफ इंट्रोडक्शन दे दीजिएगा।
खुर्रम साहब को तो मैंने
साहब
खुद
भी,
रिक्वेस्ट की थी, वो तो आए हुए हैं।
हाँ जी।
जी सलाम वालेकुम जी। मेरा नाम फजल मालिक है। मैं क्लाइमेट चेंज ऑफिसर हूँ, प्रोजेक्ट ऑफिसर हूँ SRSP में। तो
माशाल्लाह,
हमारा
बहुत
प्रोजेक्ट
शुक्रिया आपके आने का, बहुत शुक्रिया।
फंडेड
मैंने
पीस
आफ्ताब को रिक्वेस्ट की
जी।
थी। बहुत शुक्रिया आपका बेटा, थैंक यू सो मच।
सर मेरा नाम खालिद हुसैन है, मैं भी SRSP से हूँ। SRSP में नेचुरल रिसोर्स मैनेजमेंट और ये क्लाइमेट से रिलेटेड जो चीज़ें हैं, और अभी हम उसमें जो लैंड रिसोर्स मैनेजमेंट है उसको भी देखता हूँ।
बहुत शुक्रिया, आफ्ताब को मेरी तरफ से बहुत शुक्रिया अदा करें। मैंने रात को
एग्जैक्टली
उनको मैसेज
एग्जैक्टली।
किया बहुत
हाँ
लेट।
बिल्कुल।
माशाल्लाह
हाँ
आप तशरीफ लाए, मुझे बहुत खुशी है, बहुत शुक्रिया आपका।
थैंक यू सर।
बाकी खुर्रम साहब आप भी थोड़ा सा बता दें अपने बारे में। अस्सलाम वालेकुम।
वालेकुम सलाम महसन साहब, बहुत शुक्रिया सर। माई सेल्फ डॉक्टर खुर्रम मुबीन। मैं जी मोहम्मद नवाज शरीफ ज़राई यूनिवर्सिटी मुल्तान से हूँ, एसोसिएट प्रोफेसर एग्रोनॉमी डिपार्टमेंट में अपने फ़राइज़ अंजाम दे रहा हूँ। और मेरा जो काम है सर वो क्लाइमेट स्मार्ट एग्रीकल्चर और रिसोर्स यूज़ एफिशिएंसी के हवाले से है। और ख़ास तौर पर ये जो हमारे पाकिस्तान के हिल टोरेंट अफेक्टेड एरियाज़ हैं, रोद कोही वाले एरियाज़ हैं, वहाँ पर रिसोर्स कंजर्वेशन की बड़ी ज़रूरत है। सॉइल का रिसोर्स हो चाहे वो वाटर रिसोर्स हो। इसी तरह वहाँ की जो लाइवलीहुड है वहाँ पे भी बहुत काम करने की ज़रूरत है। तो उस पे हमने कुछ प्रोजेक्ट्स भी किए हैं, वो इंटरनेशनल फंडिंग भी ली है और HEC फंडेड प्रोजेक्ट भी किया है। और साथ ही हम ने जो है वो हिल टोरेंट को एज एन पार्ट ऑफ एकेडमिया भी शामिल किया है। अपने हम स्टूडेंट्स को स्पेट इरिगेटेड एग्रीकल्चर के नाम से हिल टोरेंट एरिया की जो एकेडमिक्स है वो पढ़ा रहे हैं बच्चों को, ताकि वो साइंटिफिक ब्रेन्स तैयार हों और फ्यूचर के लिए हमारे पास ऐसी फोर्स तैयार हो जो हमारी इस बड़ी रिसोर्स को यूज कर सके फॉर द बेटर गुड ऑफ द कंट्री। एंड वी आर ओपन फॉर कोलैबोरेशन। थैंक यू वेरी मच।
थैंक यू सो मच। बाकी तो हमारे साथी कैबी से हैं मेरे ख्याल है।
यस सर, शील्ड सर हैं और सुबह
जी
Yes, I'll quickly introduce myself. I'm Shkil from CAB International. I'm basically agriculturist, and like from last 6 years, I'm working with the Asian Development Bank for different climate resilient and climate smart agriculture practices. Like we had been working on machine use efficiency, a demonstration of new machines from agriculture productivity loss management and different advantages that we can actually have from using these different improved or updated technologies. Secondly, we have been working on Asia alternate wetting and drying methodology in rice for water saving and water use efficiency or water productivity. Similarly, now we have started a project on crop residue and biomass management. Like we have serious issue of rice straw burning in Punjab, especially. So we have just started a project on crop residue and biomass management. So overall, from last 6 years, I'm directly working with Asian Development Bank on different climate resilient and climate smart agriculture practices and food security. So this is short what I have been doing from last 6 years. It's long time I'm working here in Kabi. Like I worked with the Khalid Hussain Saab like 25 years back, in 25 years. So it's a long time actually I'm affiliated with Kabi. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for the introduction.
सर मैं थोड़ा सा नीका के बारे में बता रहा था। अभी कुछ नए लोगों ने ज्वाइन किया है, जैसे खुरम साहब हैं। तो सर हम भी एक्चुअली तो क्लाइमेट से लिंक्ड हैं। हम एनर्जी एफिशिएंसी को देख रहे हैं एग्रीकल्चर सेक्टर में। वैसे तो नीका के पास कोई 6-7 सेक्टर हैं, जैसे इंडस्ट्री है, ट्रांसपोर्टेशन है, इसी तरह एक सेक्टर इसके पास एग्रीकल्चर का है। तो एग्रीकल्चर की टीम सर आज इसी सिलसिले में आप लोगों के साथ बैठी है कि आपके कोई इंसाइटफुल आइडियाज हमारे पास आए कि किस किस सेक्टर में कहाँ कहाँ हम एनर्जी एफिशिएंसी को बढ़ा सकते हैं एग्रीकल्चर सेक्टर में। लाइक हाइड्रोपोनिक्स भी सर इसीलिए आज हमने इसका रखा है कि हम देख सकें कि ये वाकई ही एनर्जी एफिशिएंट है। उसमें हमारे साथ एकेडमिया के हैं, रिसर्च के लोग हैं, एंटरप्रेन्योर भी मौजूद हैं जो प्रैक्टिकली हमें बताएंगे कि क्या वाकई ही ये एनर्जी एफिशिएंट एग्रीकल्चर है। दूसरा सर मैं बात कर रहा था कि जैसे जैसे आबादी बढ़ रही है, अर्बनाइजेशन बढ़ रही है, तो लैंड होल्डिंग भी कम होती जा रही है। दूसरा जो हम आउटडोर एक्टिविटीज करते हैं उसमें नेचर या क्लाइमेटिक जो फैक्टर हैं वो काफी अफेक्ट करते हैं प्रोडक्टिविटी को भी। तो ये एक ऐसा एग्रीकल्चर सेगमेंट है कि जो आपका इनडोर होता है, बाहर जो आउटडोर क्लाइमेट कंडीशंस हैं वो इसको अफेक्ट नहीं करती। ये
शॉर्ट करें बेटा इस वेबिनार पे फोकस जरा दूसरा हाइड्रोपोनिक्स है उस पे जाते हैं।
उस किसी का सब
क्योंकि उस बच्चे ने बड़ी मेहनत की है। लेट्स लिसन टू। हम तो बताते रहेंगे, अपने जो सवाल होंगे बता सकते।
ठीक है। अभी वो सर मैं चाह रहा था ओपनिंग हमने सब
कोई बात नहीं सर, वो बिस्मिल्लाह करिए,
शुरू करें।
तो मुझे भी कहीं जाना है, सब सबकी कमिटमेंट्स।
अच्छा चलें। सर ओपनिंग रिमार्क्स देने थे एमडी साहब ने, क्योंकि अभी वो अवेलेबल नहीं है तो सर हम स्टार्ट कर देते हैं। First of all, I formally welcome you all people here on this important seminar. The topic of today's webinar is hydroponics, energy efficient and sustainable agriculture. तो उसी सिलसिले में सर आज हमारे पास 3 प्रेजेंटेशंस हैं। तो मैं सबसे पहले प्रेजेंटेशन के लिए इनवाइट करता हूँ ये इंटरप्रेन्योर भी हैं, बाहर से इन्होंने हाइड्रोपोनिक्स सीखा है इंग्लैंड से और इसको प्रैक्टिकली इधर कर रहे हैं। तो जारिक साहब हमारे साथ मौजूद हैं। तो जारिक साहब अप टू यू, आप अपनी प्रेजेंटेशन स्टार्ट करें।
I'll just follow this. Right. Right. Okay. Can I here's Farhan साहब शेयर करना है। IT का कौन है? हाँ जी। हाँ जी। Well, Assalamu alaikum everyone. मेरा नाम ज़रत खान है. I have been a farmer for the past 13 years, and most of these 13 years I spent hydroponic farming in Banu. Banu के अंदर जो hydroponic farming मैं कर रहा था, it was off grid. We built our own energy systems, we built our own storage systems, we did everything. Before that, I worked essentially during my college years. I worked with Planet Earth. Planet Earth is the biggest hydroponic operation in the United Kingdom. I think अब जो है 150 से 170 हेक्टेयर के बीच में वो ग्रीन हाउस ऑपरेशंस अपने चला रहे हैं. And through this, every third vegetable that is grown or sold in the United Kingdom is essentially sold via Planet Earth. तो बस थोड़ा सा भी technical issue आ रहा है, but as soon as we sort it out, then I'll share my presentation. वो आ गया बेटा वो. हाँ जी. हाँ जी. presentation.
तो पहले आपने मैंने ऊपर डेस्कटॉप पर रख दे. पहले की बात
ये लिंक है असल में प्रेजेंटेशन,
डाउनलोडेड नहीं पड़ेगा ऑनलाइन पे.
इसको कनेक्ट कर सकते हैं,
चलिए
करने भी नो प्रॉब्लम.
डाउनलोड नहीं हो सकती सर.
So टाइम लगेगा, but you know what, इसी तरह मैं करता हूँ without the presentation.
चलो
ठीक है.
नहीं, स्लाइड शेयरिंग हो जाती है ना तो
हाँ चलिए.
एक मिनट इधर आए ना.
I'm sorry, थोड़े से technical issues आ रहे हैं, but you know, I'll get the presentation up. But at the same time, अगर आप hydroponics को देखते हैं, you know, hydroponics is a very famous colloquial term. इसके अंदर it comes under soilless agriculture. Soilless agriculture के अंदर you have things like क्या कहते हैं aquaponics, जिसके अंदर मछलियों के साथ आप basic water tanks के अंदर आप सब्जी उगाते हैं. And then you have hydroponics, which is media के अंदर आप सब्जी उगाते हैं. And then you have aeroponics, which is essentially one of the reasons if human beings will ever leave this world and will ever travel to stars, their food will be produced aeroponically. But that is extremely energy intensive at the moment, and it's extremely expensive as well. So, you know, you're all, mashallah, everyone is much more educated than I am, and they know how valuable hydroponics is. But hydroponics का मैं आपको एक छोटा सा फायदा मैं बताता हूँ टाइम being. So hydroponics has this beautiful. So people ask me that every time, कि जी आप soils के अंदर microbes जो होते हैं, all these things. You know, so when you're adding nutrients, when you're adding everything to the soil, so you're not feeding plants directly. Soil के अंदर जो हर cubic inch में जो लाखों trillions of microbes होते हैं, वो जो है, all of them compete with the plant for production and for yields. तो भी problem ये आता है कि आपका plant एक तरफ पर है और दूसरी तरफ पर आपका trillions of microbes है. So with hydroponics or with soilless agriculture in general, what happens is that all these microbes are removed, and you know, like a top of the line athlete जिसके हर चीज को मॉनिटर किया जा रहा है और हर चीज को ऑप्टिमाइज किया जा रहा है, we can do the same thing with hydroponics. And you know, that is ये इससे yield हमारी बहुत बड़ी आती है, बहुत improve हो जाती है. And secondly, जो इसकी सबसे बड़ी बात है, and this is what I've done myself in the past 12-13 years, कि you do not need to grow on agricultural land. You can grow on आंसर हो गया, सॉरी फॉर दैट। ये अभी हो रहा है, ये नहीं हो रहा, ये शेयरिंग ये लाइव कर लें। तो सबसे बड़ी बात ये आती है हाइड्रोपोनिक्स एग्रीकल्चर की कि आप जमीन में बस आपको हॉरिजॉन्टल फ्लैट स्टेबल सरफेस चाहिए।
बेटा इधर आ सरफेस।
You do not need agricultural land, you do not need to go anywhere else. जो मैं बनू से मेरा ताल्लुक है, and what I used to do is that हमने बनू के अंदर फर्स्ट में हम उसको टब कहते हैं, और नॉर्मल उर्दू में उसे बोलेंगे, जो ये इंग्लिश में बोलेंगे गार्बेज डंप। जो इलाके का गार्बेज डंप था, हमने इसको साफ किया, सारा गंद निकाला, एंड हमने इस पर for the first time in the history of Banu, we grew muskmelons, we grew strawberries, we grew tomatoes, we grew anything and everything. So, it works. And it yielded, Banu ki normal on average, agar per acre agar aap yield dekhe, tomato ki, for example, is around 7 to 8 tons. And we hit around 60 to 75 tons from an acre. In a place like Banu, जिधर साफ बात है कि इंसान भी बड़ा हो सकता है, सब्जी क्या चीज। And one of the biggest things that when it comes to hydroponics is that because plants are so optimized and they're so powerful and they're so full screen कर लीजिए, and they're so उनको एक genetically उनको एक opportunity मिल रही है to achieve their potential.
वो देख सकते हैं बेटा?
हाँ जी, I can see, मैं बस
वो लोग वो जो हमारे ऑनलाइन में they can see.
आई होप आप सबको स्क्रीन नजर आ रही है।
जी जी नजर आ रही है, जी जी बिल्कुल नजर आ रही है सर।
ओके, चलिए, थैंक यू।
फुल स्क्रीन कर दीजिए बेटा नीचे से।
हाँ, इधर से
Bottom right corner.
यू आर राइट। चलिए, थैंक यू सो मच। सो यील्ड इंक्रीज की है, ये तो मैंने बता दिया। बट सबसे बड़ी बात ये कि if you're looking at processing, अगर आपने केचप बनाना है, आपने सॉसेज बनाना है, तो I won't take people's names, but आपके most of Pakistan's tomatoes are actually imported from the Central Asian republics, because पाकिस्तानी जो टमाटर है उसकी इतनी क्वालिटी नहीं है, मतलब आप 3 से 4 वो इतनी उसकी क्वालिटी है नहीं जिससे जो है ना एक अच्छा प्रोडक्ट बन सके। So essentially for the reason is कि bricks count जो है पौधों का जो plant product है, that is very low, while you need it above 5, and with hydroponics that is possible. Industrial processing भी कर सकते हैं, right? And again with everything as I was saying, your plants are stronger, they're genetically superior than traditional soil grown plants. And they're hardier as well, so they can grow through the entire year. सख्त गर्मी हो, सख्त सर्दी हो, granted थोड़ा सा स्ट्रक्चर देना होता है, granted सपोर्ट चाहिए होता है, but plants can push through. बनू जैसी जगह में a few years ago 40 से 50 डिग्री सेंटीग्रेड तक हम हिट कर लिया था जुलाई अगस्त के अंदर, जब बनू के अंदर इंसान बाहर भी आ सकता धूप में। टमाटर we were flourishing, and we actually ended up स्वात के जब नॉर्मली जून जुलाई में टमाटर की फसल जब खत्म होती तब स्वाद से टमाटर आ रहा होता है। जब आप पहले बार देखते हैं 150-180 रुपए का टमाटर होता है। We actually ended up being a part of that. स्वाद किधर और बनू किधर, and this is literally through the power of hydroponics. And पर यही बात है कि आप इमेजिन करें, स्केल को देखें। China is the #1 exporter of fruits and vegetables in the world. चाइना के पास 15 मिलियन हेक्टेयर ऑफ लैंड है। 15 मिलियन हेक्टेयर का मतलब ये 42, अगर कराची का शहर ले उसका 42 टाइम्स मल्टीप्लाई करें, इतने इलाके पर आबादी, इतने इलाके पर हर साल इंटेंसिव इंडस्ट्रियल एग्रीकल्चर हो रही है, जिससे सॉइल डिग्रेडेशन भी हो रही है, जिससे और जो भी इन्वायरमेंटल आप सोचें कितना कोलैप्स हो रहा है। On the other hand, you have the Netherlands, जिसके पास 0.5 million hectares है. This is 1.4 times the size of Karachi. They are the second largest exporters of fruits and vegetables in the world. साल के 7 billion Netherlands generate कर रहा है from exports. China is generating 10 billion. आप imagine करें, if Netherlands had the same amount of land as China, so that figure would have been potentially 10, 20 times, maybe 30 times bigger than what is what China is doing right now. But then hydroponics has its issues, has its challenges. It is not a sort of thing कि जो आप कोई भी मुंह उठा के काम कर सकता है. There is a massive learning curve to it. There are a lot. So आप imagine ये करें कि that when I started hydroponics, I had to go back. I studied economics, but I had to open all my chemistry books. I had to find every sort of data I could to understand how the different nutrients work with the plants, how water pH affects plant production, how it affects nutrient uptake. So, and but then एक और भी सबसे बड़ा जो issue हमारे पास currently आ रहा है for hydroponics in Pakistan is initially जो पहले Gen 1 hydroponics होती थी, most of those systems were imported from abroad, and components नहीं मिलते थे पाकिस्तान में. So अब ये imagine करें that Gen 1 hydroponics from 2010 to 2014-15, जो investors they were investing upwards of $500,000, and they were selling products in rupees. तो क्या हो सकता है, right? उसका कैसे आप मतलब कितने centuries में आप return generate करेंगे, बात ये आती है. And exactly. Again, and इधर efficiency की बात आती है. We have to figure out if we have to make hydroponics successful and as efficient as possible. We need to ensure that our systems we need to find cheaper and more efficient ways of producing energy, or which can be solar, which can be biomass, which could be anything. We found that, frankly, solar के हिसाब से biomass is much more capex capital expenditure efficient. हमें ये मतलब आप imagine नहीं करें कि that if you're setting up, अगर आपका 1 crore या 1.5 crore या whatever का अगर आपका solar system आप लगा रहे हैं, उतनी cost या उससे 1.5 times तक आपकी energy storage cost होती है, at times ज़्यादा भी हो सकती है. You have to take a lot of things into account. So, solar isn't something that works with hydroponics. Again, you can't have fully dedicated solars, but you can have hybrid system, which you can have hybrid systems where you could potentially have daytime running on solar, and you could have evenings running on biomass systems. Biomass systems की सबसे मज़ेदार बात ये है, अगर पाकिस्तान में बायोगैस सिस्टम्स के काफी पहले प्रोजेक्ट्स हुए हैं, and they've been deployed on scale. So most of the infrastructure is already there. बस थोड़ा सा adaptation की जरूरत आती है. You have to install gasifiers to ensure that those biogas systems can work on biomass. But then, okay, ये तो थोड़ा सा मैंने वो कर लिया, but सबसे बड़ी बात ये है कि and ये थोड़ा सा मुझसे गलत हो गया, right? But Gen 1 hydroponics failed is that because they imported everything from abroad. सब कुछ import होता, अगर seed तक जो है वो dollars, they were paying hundreds of dollars for it to import it into Pakistan. So one of the first things I've done since 2016, 2017 was trying to figure out how to localize it, how to indigenize it. आपके पास पाकिस्तान की closed environment agriculture industry है, it is a poultry industry. They are going leaps and bounds into ensuring that you have the right electrical systems in place. Those systems can literally be adapted very easily to hydroponics, while ensuring with a very smaller energy footprint, because I personally believe that extra light डालना जो है on where we are based on the world is just not worth it. Hydroponic media, मैं आज सुबह किसी से बात कर रहा था कि वो coco peat is a very famous media that is used to grow plants. Media से मुराद hydroponically you use an artificial material जिसके अंदर plant को एक base मिल जाती है on which the roots can grow. So coco peat is imported from Sri Lanka, and of course, जैसे dollar, it has to be paid for in dollars. So आप imagine कर सकते हैं कि how expensive it can get. So what we figured out is that जो कोई सुलेमान mountain range है, इसके पास there is a massive humus rock industry, which is being used by the clothing industry to stonewash clothing or stonewash jeans, and किलो के हिसाब से 3-4 रुपए किलो के हिसाब से मटेरियल मिल सकता है, and it is right now being exported from Pakistan to the Middle East. So what I'm trying to say is that hydroponic systems deploy करना जिधर लाखों डॉलर लगते थे, we can actually bring it down to maybe 40 लाख रुपए 50 लाख रुपए for a fully climate controlled system. And I always say that you learn from the ones before you. So Aptabad hydroponic farm was literally जिसने मुझे समझाया कि अच्छा these are the issues that can happen with hydroponics. Aptabad hydroponics 2013-14 में उनका उस idea started gestating, and they imported a fully climate controlled state of the art greenhouse. If you're from Aptabad, ये बिलाल टाउन के पास, बिलाल टाउन के अंदर है, right next to the gate of PMA. So जो साहब थे, state of the art system, hundreds of thousands of dollars. But then problem इधर ये आया कि 2021 में बंद हो गया. This was not a farm, this was a food factory. Everything was climate controlled. आपके nutrients were dosed down to 1 ppm. Temperature was everything was perfect. Foreign materials enter कर ही नहीं सकते into the system. तो इधर जो issue आया सबसे बड़ा is जो capex या जो capital expenditure था, that was so high that Aptabad hydroponic farm was limited. It could not grow staples. What I personally do is that I grow tomatoes, खीरे, करेले, मिर्चें, बैंगन, आम चीजें, and मंडी के थ्रू हम बेच सकते हैं. पर Aptabad hydroponics का मसला ये आया कि that उन्होंने 2014-15 में लाखों डॉलर्स डिप्लॉय करने शुरू कर लिए थे. So they were limited to only growing very, very expensive crops, which could generate a return. Cherry tomatoes आ गए, broccoli आ गई, romaine lettuce, iceberg आ गया, colored capsicum, ये सारी चीजें. अब ये imagine, and अब सबसे बड़ी इधर बात ये आती है कि how can you sell such an expensive crop in a country like Pakistan? Like कितने लोग एक Mercedes afford कर सकते पाकिस्तान में? Very few. But कितने लोग CD70 afford कर सकते हैं? So Aptabad hydroponics, with whatever it was doing was so innovative at that time, was limited to essentially trying to sell Mercedes-Benz to the normal public, while the model should have been focused more on आम सब्जी so that आम लोग खरीद सके. Because आपकी मंडी बनू जैसी मंडी, which is a border मंडी जिसका कोई हैसियत नहीं है, आप in front of इस्लामाबाद और कराची और लाहौर, वो साल के 80 से 90 मिलियन डॉलर की मर्चेंडाइज प्रोसेस करती है. इस्लामाबाद, लाहौर and Karachi process billions annually, but they only process arm staples like tomato, like karele, like bangan, all these things. And again, सबसे बड़ा जो एक तो बिजनेस मॉडल का फ्लॉट था, एक capex cost पे थोड़ी सी issue था, but then the biggest issue was that they did not have a turnkey farm. turnkey se murad ke that it was not adapted for Pakistan's ecosystem. It was a farm that had been literally picked up from a factory in Spain and was then exported to Pakistan. So आपके पास ये है कि the European ecosystem is completely different. It has completely very different dynamics. Pakistan की different है. And आप imagine करें that farm could not, its heating cost was so high that farm could not break even. And sadly जैसे COVID आया and जैसे restaurants, hotels बंद हो गए, तो only उनके जो वाहिद customers थे वो बस restaurants और hotels थे because of the high value of the crop. जैसे वो बंद हो गए, अब तो बाद hydroponics shut operations a year later. But वो तो एक है. I am a farmer myself, and I've been farming full time for the past since 2012. 2012 के अंदर हम जब गंदम लगाते थे, it was comfortable. You could grow crops. But जितना हमारे climate change जितना असर लेके आया है, आप ये इमेजिन करें कि हम उस तरीके से गंदम भी नहीं लगा सकते because out of season बारिशें हो रही हैं, आपकी weather extremes आ रहे हैं, आपकी ठंड जो है इतनी एक्सट्रीम होगी कि at times freezing आती है. अगर if you look at the graph, आपके 1950s के अंदर 3 से 4 आपके इवेंट्स आए हैं, 1970s के अंदर भी इसी तरह गिने चुने इवेंट्स आए इन अ डेकेड. अभी आप 2010 को देखें, 2010 में हर साल intense national या regional floods आ रहे हैं which have compromised our ability to produce highly, to produce efficiently and productively. And this is only going to get worse as climate change worsens, as climate change gets more intense with as the years pass. But then, सबसे बड़ी बात ये है कि as climate change happens, as my father would say that बुरे वक्त में पैसे लगाए जाते हैं. So hydroponics actually opens up an opportunity where, along with generating crops, with generating crops and generating, a local currency-based return from it, you have the opportunity where sustainability, for the very first time in decades, is not a niche market product anymore. Sustainability से मुराद आपके पास carbon credit systems आ जाते हैं. You have all these things where efficiency makes sense, where the more energy you save, the more soil that you protect, the more you're making sure that the land is not disturbed. You're actually able to generate dollarized returns. And again, as things are happening in the world right now, आपके पास hydroponics is the and through carbon credit system of carbon capture and all this, आपस funding opportunities massively improve होती जा रही है. And a second, so again, आपके पास यही आती है कि carbon credits, things like that, you are able to generate your returns. And actually,
जरा थोड़ा सा पोटेंशियल बताएंगे कहाँ ज्यादा पोटेंशियल है पाकिस्तान में, लाइक एनएमडीज पे आपने काम किया है, सैलरी इज ऑनलाइन एट माय रिक्वेस्ट, तो एनएमडीज का थोड़ा बताइए.
So before 2020, before COVID, I worked with the military in Waziristan. I helped from 2016 till 19. I was there helping support agriculture practices on the ground. So we had developed this project where we believe that hydroponics could actually be used to economically uplift deprived communities. So abhi imagine kare that we had developed this project where hum log a public-private partnership initiate kar rahe with local communities, and we raised the funding, we raised everything for it. And the aim was that to Waziristan ke local communities from either onwards, we would deploy about 100 canals in 7 districts. And in these 100 canals, we would help teach the community how to farm better and farm more intensively, and and ensuring that they don't have to work the soil anymore, and they have industrialized agriculture. But that didn't really, sadly, COVID I guess, so things fell apart. But we believe that if that had worked, we would have scaled from 700 canals of farms to around 40,000 farms by this year. And again, I've gone through most of it.
It would be nice to get some questions and फिर उसके बाद आगे
Yeah,
थोड़ा interactive कर दें इसको.
of course. So I know अभी मैं lecture कर रहा हूँ and it's kind of boring. So if you have any questions, love to answer it. So please let me know.
सर थैंक यू वेरी मच फॉर योर इंसाइटफुल प्रेजेंटेशन. एक्चुअली क्वेश्चन आंसर का सेशन हमने लास्ट में रखा है,
Okay.
तो आखिर में फिर ये क्वेश्चन आंसर चलते रहेंगे.
Khalid साहब ने mic unmute
Please
किया.
कुछ थोड़ा सुन लेते हैं, कोई बात नहीं, थोड़ा
जी,
flexible
Khalid
रहे.
साहब.
फरहान, ठीक है, कोई बात. जी प्लीज.
जरा खान, थैंक यू वेरी मच. आपने बड़ा ज़बरदस्त और काफ़ी डिटेल से जो है ना हाइड्रोपोनिक के बारे में हमें बता दिया है. चंद
sir.
पॉइंट्स जो कि मैं अपनी अंडरस्टैंडिंग के लिए क्लियर करना चाहता हूँ. एक तो
sir.
सर काइंडली अगर ये पता चले कि ये जो हाइड्रोपोनिक का आपने जिक्र किया, इसका
हाँ जी.
एक तो कास्ट पर एकड़ जो है ना कितनी इसकी लागत आ जाती है, नंबर वन. और फिर ये
ठीक है
जो
सर.
प्रोग्राम आपने प्रेजेंट किया, इसमें हमने कौन से ग्रुप को टारगेट कर रहे हैं फार्मिंग में ना, फार्मर्स के ग्रुप्स आप अपने कंट्री की कंटेक्स्ट में देखते हुए, अपनी प्रोविंस की कंटेक्स्ट में देखते हुए कौन सा फार्मिंग वाला ग्रुप है जिसको हम टारगेट कर रहे हैं, और इसका कास्ट बेनिफिट एनालिसिस अगर हमें पता चले कि जी क्या कास्ट बेनिफिट है और कास्ट पर एकड़ कितना है, और उसका ब्रेक इवन के बारे में भी अगर पता चल जाए तो मेरे ख्याल में काफ़ी अंडरस्टैंडिंग में आसानी हो जाएगी हमारी.
Okay. Well, sir, very good question. So Khalid साहब, हमारी जो capex cost है initially, that starts at around 4.5 to 5 million बनते हैं. And ये बात है कि to put it in perspective, एक canal hydroponics is equal to 8 canals. 1/8 of an acre of hydroponics is equal to 8 canals of yield soil. 8 का मतलब उससे ज्यादा टू बी फेयर पैदावार करता है. सो हमारा जो इस वक्त जो है एकड़ की कॉस्ट 4 to 5 मिलियन तक पहुंच जाती है. हमारे जो आई एम essentially an operator myself, but so I can't say कि जी कौन से टारगेट ग्रुप्स को टारगेट किया है. But I can tell you that the cost of production, which includes all 18 cost heads on farm and from gate to mandi, इसको इंक्लूड करके 15 रुपए फी किलो हमें पूरे साल हमारी कॉस्ट प्रोडक्शन टमाटर के अंदर, जो सबसे ज्यादा न्यूट्रिएंट इंटेंसिव क्रॉप है. The people that I have worked for, essentially इसमें जो ग्रुप्स जिनके साथ मैंने काम किया है, we have processors जो टोमेटो केचप, जो सॉसेस बना रहे हैं. I have most of the time I'm working with professionals as well right now, जिन्होंने who are seeing the potential of it and who are deploying it. And I think low income groups के साथ मैं वजीरिस्तान में जब मैं काम कर रहा था, उसमें that was my that was what I really wanted to do. उसमें थोड़े से hurdle आ रहा था because इसमें थोड़ा सा learning curve है. But once they were able to see it, they were very excited. कि जी 10-10, 11-11 फुट का पौधा हो गया है, फसल हो रही, फसल मतलब 150 ग्राम का टमाटर हम हार्वेस्ट कर रहे हैं, हर किस्म के मौसम में हो रहा है. So so it worked as that. I hope Khalid sahab I've answered your question.
अच्छा.
Okay. Doctor फजली साहब हाँ जी जी सर.
हाँ डॉक्टर खालिद पूछ रहे.
हाँ जी सर.
जी, मेरा नाम फजल मालिक है और मेरा एक क्वेश्चन है. ये जो आपने जो चैलेंजेस में कहा है कि इनकम्पेटिबिलिटी विद द लोकल इकोसिस्टम, तो
Yes, sir.
हम जो ये कहते हैं कि भाई इसको मतलब क्लोज एनवायरनमेंट में होना चाहिए, तो फिर ये कैसे वो कंपेटेबल हो गया इधर इसके लिए? अगर ये मतलब इनकम्पेटिबिलिटी की जो इश्यूज थे वो कौन कौन से थे
Yes,
कि
sir.
फ्यूचर में वो मतलब जो भी काम करे कि वो फ्यूचर में उनको मतलब वो फेस ना हो? थैंक यू।
Okay, so just repeating your question, just to ensure कि आपने वो कि incompatibility के क्या issues आ रहे थे, and आपने closed environment के मुतालिक कि how does that compare to the local ecosystem, right?
Yes.
Okay, understood. So, Ahmedabad hydroponics की मैं बात कर सकता हूँ इसमें. Ahmedabad hydroponics was growing a very niche crop for a very niche audience. तो essentially they were very limited. Scalability की possibility नहीं थी. हमने जो किया and हमने सोचा कि आर्म्स essentially उन्होंने जो किया कि they're like, gee, we'll grow high quality product and we'll sell a high quality, high value product to a niche market. हमने जो business model develop किया कि that we will sell a high quality local product, and instead of going upwards, instead of chasing higher prices, हम अपने end पर cost of production हम drop करते जाएंगे. So numbers I found that soil ke against some University of Agriculture Faisalabad has stated it costs between 9 to 15 rupees per kilogram to produce right now. So our aim was to bring down, initially when we started was to go 20 rupees. 20 rupees was my initial cost of production fee. Then slowly and steadily, while improving the way we mix our fertilizers, while improving our yields, हमारे pruning, ये सारी चीजें करते करते हुए, we actually brought it down to 15-16 rupees. अगर आप मंडी में अभी जाते हैं, because of the climatic conditions we've been experiencing for the past 5 to 6 years, on average, सबसे lowest rate मुझे on season में 30 से 35 रुपए मिला है. So it actually, it's kind of somehow become, sadly not somehow, but it has become profitable in this tragedy that's happening to Pakistan. The biggest issues we faced was the fact that Pakistan mein people still do not understand that high tunnels and greenhouses or hydroponics are not different things. Ventilation issues are something that were pretty massive. हमने जो पहले tunnel farm बनाया था that did not have ventilation. And जब जून जुलाई आया, insect net पे हमने सब्जी उगा रहे थे, humidity was very high and crop just failed. As soon as July happened, गर्मी ज़्यादा हो जाती थी. And then again, सबसे बड़ा एक और issue आया था was that labor के साथ we didn't have access to the right type of trained and untrained labor. So because Banu doesn't really have a very good agriculture background, so it was very difficult to bring people in from Punjab. So there was a lot of problems where जो आपकी untrained labor थी, they were they were kind of leaving the door open so that insects infiltration on the road. They were bringing in stuff from outside and contaminating the plants. They were not taking care of their pruning equipment properly. So yeah, I hope that answers your question, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, thank you very much for insightful presentation. We are fortunate enough. Dr. Arshad Nawaz Chaudhary, Director Hydroponics, Arid University, has joined us. Sir, it's your turn now. We have presentation, and Dr. Khalid will educate us about the hydroponics. Doctor, please.
जिसको शेयर मैं कर देता हूँ. एक सेकंड.
Assalamu alaikum.
Mr. Sir.
Are you listening?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
You are audible. And
Okay,
please.
I am Dr. Arshad Nawaz Chaudhary, Director, Institute of Hydroponic Agriculture, Arid Agriculture University, Rawalpindi. I would like to introduce my university that Arid University is not only in Pakistan, but it is in South Asia. It is the only university which offering degrees and diplomas in hydroponic agriculture. We have started BS honors hydroponic agriculture, MS hydroponic agriculture, and 6 months, 1 year postgraduate diplomas. As regards powering hydroponic sustainability, energy efficient solution, climate resilience, and urban agriculture, it is the key to the sustainable agriculture. Why hydroponics? A solution for modern agriculture. Traditional agriculture faces challenges like water scarcity, and in hydroponics, we can save up to 90% less water. Soil degradation, as you know that due to erosion, nutrient depletion, pollution, and continuous use of chemical fertilizer, we have deteriorated our soils. And now it's the time that we should not depend only on soil dependency, but we have to go for hydroponic systems. Climate variability, as you know, in Pakistan and all over the world, unpredictable weather patterns impact crop yields, agricultural crops very badly. So this controlled environment, optimized conditions ensure consistent high quality yields. Hydroponics, a global trend with local relevance. Annual market growth is more than 10%. The global hydroponic market is expanding rapidly, driven by innovation and demand. Urban population increase. As the urban population is growing geometrically, Pakistan's specific context, our cities are expanding, increasing demand for local food production, food import dependency. Hydroponics can reduce reliance on costly food imports, increasing climate stress, provide resilience against extreme weather impacting traditional agriculture. Hydroponics is just not a global trend. It's a vital strategy for Pakistan food security and sustainable development. Addressing energy challenges in hydroponic system, as we in our university, we have 4 commercial labs having 1.25 acre each, controlled glass greenhouses at Rawat campus and 2 canal in main campus at Arid University, where we trained our students. But the main cost is our energy challenges. Crucial for pumps, climate control, supplementary lighting in controlled environments, high operational cost due to energy consumption, as energy crisis is all over Pakistan, and due to this system has some limitation. But without energy smart solutions, widespread adoption and large scale operations are hindered. Pioneering energy efficient solutions for hydroponics, solar powered systems utilizing solar energy for pumps, sensors, and foundational power needs, advanced LED light, energy efficient LEDs with smart control, optimized light spectrum and timing, efficient climate control, AI optimization. Next, please. Artificial intelligence to fine-tune light, water, and nutrient delivery, minimizing waste. These are the climate resilience with hydroponic, building climate resilience with hydroponics. Hydroponic systems offers a robust defense against the unpredictable impacts of climate change ensuring stable food supplies throughout the year, protection from extremes, too high temperatures, heat waves, floods, and other severe weather events, they affect our crops. So if we go for controlled environment, we can have production around the year-round production, and also it's a reduced rainfall releases because the dependency on volatile rainfall patterns, especially in arid regions, we can save our crops in controlled environment. Climate smart integration, integrated with broader climate smart agriculture strategies for enhanced sustainability. This inherent resilience positions of hydroponic as a cornerstone for future food security in the changing climate. Unlocking urban agriculture opportunities. Hydroponic is transforming cityscapes into productive farmlands, being fresh food closer to consumers, as it can be done in urban peripheries. We don't need too much land. We can grow crops on a very small farm. For example, I can give you the example in our university. We produce normally tomato can be grown 10 tons per acre, but hydroponically we have grown 162 tons, means 15 times greater than the normal tunnel production of tomatoes. And the one thing more, that we can grow very high cost value crops like cherry, capsicums, multicolored, and these have the values. Economically, it's very viable. Rooftop hydroponics can be done, vertical farms, local food supply chain, reduced carbon footprints. These are the things. If we integrate agriculture into urban centers, we can enhance access to nutritious food and foster sustainability development. Fostering innovation, policy, and entrepreneurship. To scale sustainable hydroponics, we need policies, framework, and a thriving entrepreneurial ecosystems. Government incentives. What government should do? Encouraging adoption of renewable powered hydroponics through subsidies and grants, because hydroponic initially it is costly, but when you grow crops and having benefits, it's multiple time. Progressive farmer can easily go for this if they have the technology, if they are aware of this technology, that it can increase yield 15 times more than the normal tunnels. Also, startup opportunities for innovation in local equipment, nutrient solutions, and cold chain logistics. If we increase these things, we can go for controlled environment production. Also, the government should encourage public-private partnerships, collaborations to drive research, development, and market penetration. These efforts create a supportive environment for growth, innovation, and job creation with the sustainable agriculture sector. Global examples and best practices. Learning from global leaders provides valuable insights for local adoption and innovation in hydroponics. We are also we are adopting local low cost. We are replicating the hydroponic system in a local environment through cost-effective manners. The Netherlands Energy Smart Vertical Farms, UAE Solar Hydroponics Integration, local initiative and adaptation. We can go for energy conservation, like UAE has provided integrating solar systems in hydroponic. So if the government should support the innovator, the entrepreneur for energy, only energy provision, then it can be replicated very easily in our local environment. The future is hydroponic, a call to action, food security and climate resilience. Hydroponic is not just a technology, it's a pathway to a secure, sustainable food for future. Sustainable power solutions. What I am saying again and again, that integrating renewable energy is critical for scalability and environmental integrity. Together, we can shape the future for sustainable food systems in Pakistan. We urge collaborations among researchers, practitioners, farmers, entrepreneurs, and policymakers. Let's unite to cultivate a greener, more food secure tomorrow for all. Thank you very much. Thanks.
Dr. Saab, just a few points. How do you see collaboration with NEECA on these initiatives?
NEECA can, as we are academic institution, we don't have the funds to scale up this technology. We have all the technology, we have the system, we can go for empowering students and entrepreneurs, businessmen through training, and for training and awareness, if there is funding available, because you know at present in our institutions government funding is very limited. We are very hardly running this for research and for development for students only. But if there is some funding for training of farmers, training of entrepreneurs, then we can go. It can go on larger scale for applications. And also we have that. Yes, please.
Please continue, Dr. Please.
We have a controlled system, but now we are replicating it in with local low-cost technology structures.
Right.
We have established one unit in Governor House, Punjab, and one in Multan University, and they are doing very well. But still, it needs scale up. Until unless farmers and innovators should not adopt this, it's useless.
Thank you so much. Excellent points. I hope, Farhan Saab, you can consider.
Yes, sir, of course.
On behalf of NEECA.
Sir, it will be great if you provide us opportunity to have a catch up on your office, or you are welcome if you have some spare time to meet with us.
Okay, sir. Inshallah, I will contact you.
So thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
The second segment of technical session is presentation 2. And for presentation 2, I will request Ms. Fatma Rizwan. She is research analyst climate change at NDRMRF. Ma'am, can you please hear me? Ms. Fatma Rizwan.
Assalamu alaikum. Am I audible?
Yes, please.
Am I
please
audible?
Continue with your presentation.
Yes,
Okay.
you are.
Please give me.
Screen sharing this. Of this top sheet.
Yes, please, you can start.
Okay, so can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So, Assalamu alaikum. My name is Fatma Rizwan. I am basically a geoinformatics engineer by profession, having a specialization in climate change and sustainable development, basically a master's in climate change and sustainable development. And currently, I am working as a research analyst at National Disaster Risk Management Fund. So, first of all, thank you so much to NEECA, to Sir Shesha, particularly for giving me this opportunity to be here at this webinar. I hope my presentation will be fruitful, and I hope that I'll get to learn from your questions as well. So starting the presentation, which is boosting nutrition security, the case of aquaponics farming. So without further ado, let's have a quick look at the presentation outline. So these are the contents that we'll be delving deep into in the next few minutes. So starting off with the introduction. So as we all know by now that climate change refers to long-term shifts in temperatures and weather patterns. It disrupts the temperature patterns and the precipitation patterns. And when that happens, on one extreme end, it leads to uncontrolled excess water leading to floods. And on the other extreme end, it leads to drought conditions. And when these two events happen simultaneously or one after another, it ultimately leads to crop failures. And when crop failures occur, it means that there is lower productivity. And at the same time, there is an outbreak of foodborne, vector-borne, and waterborne diseases. And when that happens, it cumulatively leads to biodiversity loss. And when biodiversity loss occurs, obviously food insecurity happens. And when food insecurity happens, so deeper down, nutrition insecurity happens among the masses. Pakistan, unfortunately, is also no longer safe from the same crisis, as we are almost 10th or 8th most vulnerable country to climate change. So talking about Pakistan, if we even talk about the most privileged, one of the most privileged cities, that is Islamabad. So according to National Nutrition Survey, 33% of children in Islamabad are stunted, 12% are wasted, 19% are underweight, and 6% are overweight. These are alarming statistics. So moving on towards the statistics regarding women. So 57.6% of women in Islamabad breastfeed. So when they breastfeed, their nutritional requirements are more. So at this point, the question arises, how can we support these malnourished children, undernourished children, and how can we support these breastfeeding mothers? So the answer lies, yes? Okay, so the answer lies in adopting climate resilient agriculture techniques. So what exactly is climate resilient agriculture? So according to United Nations Standing Committee on Nutrition, climate resilient agriculture is basically the one that is both nutrition friendly and health promoting. So it has to be nutrition friendly and it has to be health promoting. Now imagine that there's a funnel. On top of the funnel, there's this term climate resilient agriculture. Then on the second step, there is this term urban agriculture. So why do we need to shift towards urban agriculture? Because rural agriculture is already in practice in Pakistan. Its efficiency is another debate. But we have to move on towards urban agriculture techniques as well, so as to fulfill the demands of ever-growing population. So an urban agriculture is basically, as the name implies, it is the one that is practiced within cities and its surrounding regions. And at the last step of the funnel is this term aquaponics farming. So aquaponics farming is basically a combination of two different separate techniques, aquaculture and hydroponics. So when we combine these two technologies, it becomes aquaponics. So climate resilient agriculture, then urban agriculture, and then aquaponics. So at this point, we need to understand that what exactly is aquaponics system. So as I've stated earlier, that it comprises of two main terms, that is aquaculture, which is the breeding or the farming of the fish, and hydroponics, as you've heard in the previous presentation, it is the cultivation of plants in a soilless medium in water. So in this system, what happens is we have two tanks. In the lower tank, we have fish in water, and in the above tank, we have plants suspended in water. So what happens is that fish are fed, and when they are fed, they excrete the excretory material. What happens is that excretory material dissolved into water gets passed into the sediment tank through water pump, goes through biofilter, and that dirty water or that excretory material mixed water gets into the plant tank. Now here what happens is that the excretory material of the fish acts as a fertilizer for the plant, so a natural fertilizer for the plant. So plants take up those nutrients from the water and filter the water in return for the fish, and the water comes back to the fish tank. So it's basically a symbiotic relationship. Fish are beneficial for the plants because they are providing fertilizers for the plants, and plants are beneficial for the fish because they are filtering the water for the fish. So the cycle goes on and on. So again, this system has many benefits. One of the very first benefits is that it promotes water use efficiency. According to multiple researchers, it uses 90% less water compared to conventional agriculture techniques. And this is a huge statistic stated in many research papers. So yes, it promotes water use efficiency. Then it promotes nutrient use efficiency. How nutrient use efficiency? Because the fish food and the fish excretory material, the nitrates, the ammonium converted into nitrates is basically fed to the plants, and plants filter that water for the fish. So basically nutrient use efficiency. And by promoting these two sorts of efficiencies, the system becomes a circular economy principle. So yes, in circular economy, as you all might be well aware, that it promotes the principles of recycle, reduce, reuse, and all of that. Then thirdly, this technique serves as a regenerative agricultural production technique. So what is regenerative? Why regenerative? Because it promotes agricultural biodiversity. So any system that promotes agricultural biodiversity is also considered to be a regenerative production technique. Now, how does it promote agricultural biodiversity? First, because it rears fish, then it helps in cultivating the vegetables. Moreover, at a later stage, you would be very interested to, it would be a great insight for you to know that fungi culture, which is the cultivation of mushrooms, can also be enabled in this system. And then later, at a later stage, when the systems become more developed, we can also extract honey from, if we start cultivating flowers or things like that on the systems, we can also start cultivating aquaponics honey. So basically, it gives us 4 food commodities, initially 2 food commodities, but later if we build on that, 4 food commodities from the same system. So which is a very plus point in promoting agricultural biodiversity. Then the 4th point is, it uses no chemical fertilizers, because the fish waste is enough to grow plants. Then it uses no pesticides, because obviously if we use pesticides, so they'll be harmful for the fish. So pesticides aren't used, instead natural biopesticides or biological pest control methods are used, such as by releasing ladybugs into the greenhouses in such systems, they eat the pests, or cultivating marigold flowers. So things like that are taking place, which is very nature friendly. Moving on, after we've discussed the benefits, we discussed the significance for several institutions. So first of all, of course, it will be beneficial for NEECA, as it is a conservation authority and it is a conservation technique, so it will prove beneficial for this institution. Sorry, excuse me. Acha. Uske alawa, then it will be beneficial for the Ministry of Climate Change, because as we all know, the National Climate Change Policy states that we need to invest in climate resilient agriculture techniques. Now, the interesting point here to note is that hydroponics is mentioned in the National Climate Change Policy, but aquaponics isn't mentioned. And as far as my research is concerned, yes, aquaponics is more expensive, but it is more agricultural biodiverse as well, and more food commodities and all of that. So these techniques should also be incorporated at a later stage. Then it will be beneficial for the Ministry of National Food Security and Research, because they are working on food security, and food security has many pillars, and one of the pillars that we're discussing today is nutrition and security. That is how the food is utilized. So it will be beneficial for that. Then the Ministry of Water Resources. Now, do you know that the Ministry of Water Resources has a slogan that says more crop per drop? So this is exactly what's happening in the system. So we are cultivating more crops per drop in the system. Then it will be beneficial for the agricultural departments. Of course, it can be replicated in all the agricultural departments in all the provinces. And food and agricultural organizations, and UN Habitat is interestingly working on rainwater harvesting on a massive scale. And if we start this aquaponic system, so rainwater harvesting can be incorporated in that as well. So CDA, the Capital Development Authority, because obviously if you want to start urban agriculture, we do need approvals of such authorities, and IFAD and World Food Program. So particularly then talking about NEECA's mandate alignment, so this technology will promote energy efficiency in agriculture, because the aquaponics greenhouses can use solar panels, they can use rainwater harvesting, which will be very good for the aquaponic system. Then it reduces the food losses, as we've discussed, that the fish food is not wasted, the excretory material is not wasted, and it's a circular system altogether. And then it will promote energy efficiency in the building sector as well. How? Because then there are two options. So we can either start aquaponics farming on a greenhouse on land, or we can start an aquaponics farming system on top of buildings. That is building integrated agriculture. If we start doing that in Pakistan and the major cities, so of course then it will promote energy efficiency in the building sector, which is NEECA's mandate as well. So moving on towards significance regarding the SDGs, so it will help in, because SDG is effective, right? So it will help in achieving SDG 2, that is zero hunger. It will help in achieving food security and improved nutrition. It will give universal access to safe and nutritious food, as we've discussed, that there are no chemical fertilizers, no pesticides. Then it will try to end all forms of malnutrition, as we've discussed how wasting, stunting, underweight, overweight are issues. Then it is a sustainable food production technique, and it will maintain genetic diversity, as we've discussed. It promotes agricultural biodiversity. Then the SDG 3, that is good health and well-being, ensuring healthy lives and promoting well-being for all at all ages. It will help in fighting communicable diseases, because of course if your diet will be good, your immunity will be good, and you will be able to fight diseases. It will also promote mental health. There is this aspect that I would like to share, is that there's this thing called biophilic architecture, which is when we incorporate nature into architecture. So when nature is incorporated in architecture, for instance, if we start this building integrated agriculture on rooftops of buildings or inside buildings, or even greenhouses on flat lands, spare areas, it will promote mental health as well, because greenery has a positive impact on the mental health. And then it will reduce illness and death from hazardous chemicals. Again, we've discussed that no chemicals are used in this technology. So this is a very good resource that I found on while doing my research. So it basically states that how it will, this technology will help in achieving the SDGs all together. So we have discussed that basically, so first we need to understand that we are a less developed economy, right? So less developed economies need to first focus on the adaptation issues. So when we talk about adaptations, where that is adapting to the changes that are occurring in the climate. So it will help in achieving zero hunger SDG, good health and well-being, and ultimately these all SDGs. And then when these are, and then at the same time, simultaneously, we are also achieving the mitigation actions, as we will be promoting, if we adopt these technologies, we will be promoting the protection of life on land, life below water, and ultimately climate action and resilient agriculture and food systems. Moving on, so these are aquaponics is actually practiced around the world in various regions. The major setup, one of the major setups, is in the United States of America, Superior Fresh Farms in US are a big setup that are using this technology. They have amazing employees. If you want to reach out to them, you can even reach out to them via LinkedIn, etc. They'll be helpful. They will be very supportive of the technology transfer techniques, because I've personally experienced this. So if any one of you want to get advantage of that, you can do that. Then a very good thing is that one of the Muslim countries, Egypt, is having one of the major commercial aquaponics farm setup that is known as Bustan Aquaponics. So you get very happy when you see that Muslim countries are also progressing. This is a screenshot from their website. Then Australia is working on it, British Virgin Islands, Iran, UAE, and I forgot to mention Israel. So yes, so if you want to do research, so there's it's a very good idea to get into their research papers and to learn from them as well, because they are doing a good job in this technology as well. Lastly, I'd like to discuss what is the pathway for Pakistan. What we can do is, as a researcher, I was studying and researching, and I came to conclude that what we can do is we can start from major cities, as it is majorly urban agriculture technique. Right? So we can start from major cities, for instance, Islamabad, Karachi, Lahore, etc. And then we can practice these in controlled environment agriculture spaces such as greenhouses and bare and spare lands. And then on top of buildings as well, that is building integrated agriculture. This is more challenging, of course, because it requires more investment in terms of, it requires more planning in terms के, for example, इसमें ये भी चीज़ देखी जाती है कि सोलर पैनल्स को हम इस डायरेक्शंस में लगाएं कि कहीं आग ना लग जाए बिल्डिंग के टॉप पे, तो इस तरह की चीजें भी देखनी पड़ती हैं, while integrating agriculture on top of buildings. So it will be more challenging, but it will be, of course, worth it. So this is it. And lastly, here I have just made this mini flow chart, which says that we can start off. So I would like to point out here that we can start off with closed-loop aquaponics, and I have discussed closed-loop aquaponics. There is another type of aquaponics that is open-loop aquaponics. I haven't discussed that in my presentation because I consider that this is a more efficient technique for developing economies. But however, you're most welcome to do research on open-loop aquaponic systems. But this was closed-loop aquaponics, so we can start off with that. It will provide us with fish and vegetable commodities. Then later on, we can cultivate eatable mushrooms, that is the fungi culture. And lastly, we can also harvest and get honey out of the systems. So this is the path for Pakistan that I believe does takeaway that I would like to share with you all. I am assuming, I'm sorry, I really joined the meeting really late because I was busy in another meeting at my organization, so I missed out the introduction part, maybe. So I'm assuming that you're all researchers and passionate about research, so I would like you all to please go ahead and read about it and consult with the leading organizations in the world, and you'll know that this is actually applicable in Pakistan. It is the need of the hour. We need to start doing that. So thank you so much. And lastly, I would like to say that we need to build with nature rather than against nature, because the most resilient of the systems are the most biodiverse. So thank you so much. This is all from my side. The floor is open for questions.
Madam, thank you very much for your insightful presentation. We will stay in touch, inshallah. We will make this aquaculture energy efficient culture as well, inshallah. So we are lucky enough. Yes, ma'am, please. We are fortunate enough for the managing director.
So, madam, एक बात बताएं कि in terms of our caring, the water is recirculated over and over again to ensure that the plants are, the fish are healthy and the plants are healthy. So essentially, biofiltration and all these filtration methods, how intensive is the maintenance on this? And is there like a certain lifespan to the filters that are involved?
Oh yes, it is actually very labor intensive. Okay, so when I was interviewing one of the workers from Superior Fresh Farms in the US, so she said that this setup is very labor intensive and we cannot afford labor in US. But then when I thought we have plenty of labor in Pakistan, we can utilize them. So that is our unfair advantage, we can say, right? And then at the same time, they're moving on towards mechanization using robots for monitoring and evaluation and all of that. So we can also integrate robots and Internet of Things or इस तरह की चीजें to monitor water quality or water quality parameters की जो आप बात कर रहे थे. Yes, we have to keep a check on ammonia levels, oxygen levels और इस तरह की चीजें. So उसके लिए we have sensors in the market, the same sensors that are used in hydroponics setup. The same sensors can be used here as well. And labor, yes, is required. And one of the things that I was thinking was कि हम educated and uneducated labor दोनों को use कर सकते हैं. What I mean by that is we can also use the farmers with the indigenous knowledge and then graduates, the horticulture graduates, agriculture engineers, and all of them, and they can help in the monitoring of this system. So I hope I've answered that question.
And one last question, I think that's enough for me. So your raw water quality are utilized karte hai when you start. Does the groundwater, does it need to be processed before deployment? Yeah. Is it like you can just get away with, let's say, standard tap water?
Yes, standard tap water, groundwater can be used, not lake water, because unfortunately lake water is very contaminated, but fresh flowing water can be used. And the best thing would be to utilize the rainwater. So rainwater harvesting.
Oh, okay. Thank you, madam.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you so much.
We are fortunate enough, esteemed Managing Director NEECA has joined us. Despite of his busy schedule, he spared time for us. Sir, thank you very much for joining us. Without wasting any more time, I will request for the Managing Director NEECA, Sardar Muslim Saab, kindly sir, give a brief overview to the NEECA mandate in agriculture as well.
Gee, thank you very much. First of all, thanks to all the participants and especially the presenters for today and Essence Hub for organizing this and all the colleagues with us today. And NEECA team, thanks to you for organizing this event and this webinar. I think what we really felt and what is important that especially though we have in our NEECA Act, we have been mandated to work on agriculture sector and energy efficiency and conservation in energy sector, in agriculture sector specifically. But I think especially the current momentum that we are building, especially when we are going through this whole, the floods and post-flood trauma, I think it's very important for us to look into this aspect. Like what are some of the possibilities, how we can sort of look into it and help people of Pakistan. And I think overall, this is our responsibility to develop means and mechanisms around it to look into some more sustainable and workable future for our food security. And I think given the mandate we have, I think this is one of the key areas which I think definitely we should look into. And I think as some of the people were sort of saying and thinking about, like we have a lot of water availability with all this flood. It's a very sort of a short duration thing available and very disastrous. But overall, the water availability per capita is decreasing. And that is, I think, the next steps which we are looking into, that how using this water efficiently and relying on energy efficiency and renewable energy resources to reduce the cost and make the energy saving as a first principle, but also how to work around making the produce from the farms at a much cheaper rate that is affordable, and that will help us to address the whole inflation which we are expecting because of the food in coming days. So I think that is very important. And I think this also leads us to another aspect, like if we have to build the knowledge economy, and in this knowledge economy, definitely some of these aspects, including hydroponics that we are discussing, and how the technology plus the youth bulge we have can be tailored, and the knowledge around this whole paraphernalia can be developed and then effectively be utilized. So it's not just one dimension, but multiple dimensions where we can see that definitely we should start working. And I think these preliminary webinars are just a step to understand, figure out where the experts are. We are just trying to start a discussion. And I think in the follow-ups, we definitely look forward for bigger collaborations and aiming for more funds mobilization and initiating some projects around it that based on that we can definitely explore more opportunities, not for only our own local experts, but also collaboration with international experts in these areas and develop the country's economy around it. Thank you very much. Thanks once again.
So next segment is discussion segment. Participant on the Zoom can
is not presented. Savi. They are not presented.
So any of the participants from the Zoom link have some insightful ideas regarding hydroponics and energy efficiency in agriculture sector. Feel free to discuss.
हेलो
Yes, sir, हम सुन रहे हैं आपको। खालिद साहब बात कर रहे हैं।
जी जी
Do you have presentation, please?
मैं कुछ एक्सपीरियंसेस भी शेयर करूंगा और कुछ सजेशंस भी है मेरे। अच्छा, एक तो हाइड्रोपोनिक पे तो मेरे ख्याल में बहुत ज़्यादा डिस्कशन हो गई और तमाम पार्टिसिपेंट्स को उसकी अफादियत का पता चल गया होगा। लेकिन मैं ये नीका की जो एनर्जी एफिशिएंसी और एनर्जी कंजर्वेशन की जो बात हो रही है, जो मेन ऑब्जेक्टिव है इसकी, तो उसमें अगर क्लाइमेट स्मार्ट एग्रीकल्चर प्रैक्टिसेस की बात कर ले और फिर उसमें एक और प्रैक्टिसेस भी है जिसमें जो है ना ये ऑब्जेक्टिव हम बहुत बेहतर तरीके से जो है ना अचीव कर सकते हैं, तो उसी पे भी हमें फोकस करना चाहिए अलॉन्ग विद द हाइड्रोपोनिक। और ठीक है, हाइड्रोपोनिक भी है, जिस तरह मैं पहले कह चुका हूँ कि ये हाइड्रोपोनिक जो है ना एक तो स्मॉल स्केल पे भी ठीक है, और अगर बिग फार्मर्स है, जिस तरह हमारा जरक साहब ने कह दिया कि इस पे 5 मिलियन पर एकड़ की जो कास्ट आती है, तो बिग कमर्शियल फार्मर है तो वो उस चीज़ को अडाप्ट कर सकती है। लेकिन मैं बात कर रहा हूँ सर, जो हमारे नॉर्मल जो फार्मिंग कम्युनिटीज़ है उसकी बात कर रहा हूँ। तो उसमें अगर हम एनर्जी एफिशिएंसी और कंजर्वेशन की बात करते हैं, बहुत एनर्जी की भी और वाटर की भी, तो मेरे ख्याल में अदर प्रैक्टिसेस है, जिस तरह अगर हम कहते हैं कि जी जो जो एफिशिएंट इरिगेशन सिस्टम्स है, अभी हमारे अगर इरिगेशन सिस्टम को देखा जाए तो मेरे ख्याल में ज़्यादातर अगर ट्यूबवेल्स है या नेचुरल जो स्ट्रीम से जो इरिगेट करते हैं या मुख्तलिफ जो सिस्टम वो इस्तेमाल करते हैं, तो उसमें बड़ी एनर्जी का जो है ना ज़िया भी हो जाता है, और हमारा जो नेचुरल रिसोर्स वाटर है उसका भी बहुत ज़िया हो जाता है, और उस इरिगेशन की वजह से हमारी साइल की जो 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 रिसोर्स है वो भी ज़ाया हो रही है। तो मेरे ख्याल में हमें एक तो जो एफिशिएंट और इफ़ेक्टिव इरिगेशन सिस्टम पे जो है ना भी ज़्यादा जोर देना चाहिए। ये भी एक स्मार्ट एग्रीकल्चर प्रैक्टिस है कि लोग जो है ना कम से कम पानी का इस्तेमाल करें और उसमें जो एनर्जी एफिशिएंट यूटिलाइजेशन का आस्पेक्ट्स भी डाल ले, तो मेरे ख्याल में उससे जो है ना बेहतरी लाई जा सकती है और वो अपनी प्रोडक्टिविटी को भी इंक्रीज कर सकती है। दूसरी सर बात यह है कि ज़्यादातर हमारी फार्मिंग में अगर देखा जाए तो मेन हमारे क्रॉप से जो है वीट है, शुगर केन है, मेज़ है और इस किस्म की चीज़ें हैं, अदर देन द हाई वैल्यू कैश क्रॉप्स, जो कि स्पेशल एरियाज़ है जो जो लोग प्रोड्यूस करते हैं। लेकिन मेजॉरिटी ऑफ द फार्मिंग कम्युनिटी वो प्रोड्यूस कर रहे हैं ज़्यादातर वीट, मेज़, शुगर केन और ये जो मेजर क्रॉप्स है वो प्रोड्यूस कर रहे हैं। और बाज़ एरियाज़ में हमारे बागात है जी, हमारे जो फ्रूट आर्चर्ड्स है और इस किस्म की चीज़ें हैं, तो उसमें भी अगर एफिशिएंट इरिगेशन सिस्टम पे थोड़ा सा काम किया जाए, और आजकल आपको पता है कि AI कंट्रोल जो है ना सिस्टम्स आए हैं, जो मुख्तलिफ सेंसर उसमें लगे लगे होते हैं, आप साइल का मॉइस्चर भी उससे जो है ना मॉनिटर कर सकते हैं, साइल का टेम्परेचर भी उससे मॉनिटर कर सकते हैं, और उस हिसाब से इवन आप वेदर फोरकास्टिंग का भी सिस्टम आप उसमें इंस्टॉल कर सकते हैं। और बड़ी सिंपल जो है ना मेथड्स आए हैं, टेक्नोलॉजी आई हुई है। तो मेरे ख्याल में इस एनर्जी कंजर्वेशन के आस्पेक्ट में इस किस्म के आस्पेक्ट्स को भी हमें कंसीडर करना चाहिए, जिससे जो है ना ज़्यादा फार्मर की कम्युनिटी जो है ना फ़ायदा उठा सकती है, और उससे हमारी जो है एनर्जी के कंजर्वेशन और वो चीज़ें जो है एफिशिएंसी को हम प्रमोट कर सकती है। बाज़ एरियाज़ में सर जिस तरह हम SRSP में ग्रीन एनर्जी पे, रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी पे बहुत ज़्यादा काम कर रहे हैं, हमारा ये जो मलकन डिवीजन है और बाकी जो डिस्ट्रिक्ट है जहाँ पे पोटेंशल्स है, तो वहाँ पे हाइड्रो पावर स्टेशंस और उसकी एनर्जी को जो है ना हम बड़ा प्रमोट कर रहे हैं। तो इस किस्म की चीज़ें जहाँ पे पोटेंशियल हो तो उसको प्रमोट किया जा सकता है, उसको यूटिलाइज किया जा सकता है कि ज़मींदार उसको सही तरीके से अपने फ़ायदे के लिए वो इस्तेमाल करे और उसका कास्ट ऑफ प्रोडक्शन भी कम हो और उसकी यील्ड भी ज़्यादा हो और बाकी जो क्लाइमेट रिलेटेड चैलेंजेस है उनको भी एड्रेस किया जा सकता है। और इसके अलावा सर हमें टेक्नोलॉजी की भी ज़रूरत है जो लोकल कंटेक्स्ट को जो है ना एड्रेस करे। जिस तरह हमारा रिसर्च सिस्टम है, इसमें मुख्तलिफ हमारी जो रिसर्च साइंटिस्ट बैठे हैं, हमारे एकेडेमिया से जो है ना लोग बैठे हैं, तो मेरे ख्याल में हमें ऐसी टेक्नोलॉजीज़ को भी प्रमोट करना चाहिए और हमारी रिसर्च सिस्टम को, रिसर्च साइंटिस्ट को भी थोड़ा सा सपोर्ट देना चाहिए कि वो उस कंटेक्स्ट के मुताबिक जो है ना, और आजकल के जो क्लाइमेट चैलेंजेस है उसको देखते हुए ऐसी टेक्नोलॉजीज़ को भी डेवलप करे जो कि एनर्जी एफिशिएंट्स हो और ज़मींदार की जो है ना वो कास्ट ऑफ प्रोडक्शन भी उस पर कम हो और उसको जो प्रोडक्टिविटी इन्हांसमेंट हो और वो उससे ज़्यादा फ़ायदा ले सके। और जब ये लेंगे तो तब जाके जो है ना लोग उसको अडॉप्ट भी करेंगे और उस पर जो है ना अमल भी करेंगे। हाइड्रोपोनिक में एक क्वेश्चन तो मैंने नहीं किया, लेकिन उसमें एक एक जो चैलेंज ये है कि इसमें ये बेनिफिट्स में मैंने देख लिया कि उसमें नो केमिकल फर्टिलाइजर्स। तो मेरे ख्याल में आजकल इस चीज़ पे एक बड़ा ज़बरदस्त डिबेट भी जारी है और लोग इस पे ये भी कह रहे हैं कि ये हाइड्रोपोनिक में आप ज़्यादातर केमिकल्स जो जो सिंथेटिक इनपुट्स है, जो मैक्रो माइक्रो न्यूट्रिएंट्स है, उसको इस्तेमाल कर रहे हैं। तो लोग अभी अभी उन्होंने शुरू किया है कि इसकी जो ऑर्गेनिक स्टेटस है उसको क्वेश्चंस कर रहे हैं। बहरहाल ये भी एक डिबेटेबल वो है कि इस पर भी सोचना चाहिए कि इसका क्या हल है। सारे जो है ना रिसर्च और साइंटिस्ट बैठे हैं, तो इसके लिए भी सजेशंस हो जाए तो मेरे ख्याल में इससे जो है ना काफ़ी फ़ायदा हो सकता है इस एरिया में। और जो लोगों की कास्ट ऑफ प्रोडक्शन है उसको रिड्यूस करने के लिए, जिस तरह केबी की हमारी साइंटिस्ट बैठे हैं, तो मेरे ख्याल में केबी का भी बड़ा रोल है यहाँ पे। जो जो बायोलॉजिकल कंट्रोल मेकनिज़म्स है इस डिवीज़न में, तो मुझे एक्सपीरियंस है और बाकी एरिया में मुझे उम्मीद है कि ये कर रहे हैं। तो ऐसे तरीके जो इस्तेमाल हो रहे हैं, तो मेरे ख्याल में उसको भी हमें प्रमोट करना चाहिए ताकि लोग ये डिडली जो पेस्टिसाइड्स और जो तरीके है जो कि इन्वायरमेंट फ्रेंडली नहीं है और कास्टली भी है, उसको कम से कम किया जा सके और ज़मींदार उसको अडॉप्ट भी करे, तो मेरे ख्याल में इनको फ़ायदा होगा। तो ये चीज़ें अगर उसमें आ जाए कंसिडरेशन में तो मेरे ख्याल में बहुत बेहतर होगा। थैंक यू।
साहब बहुत शुक्रिया। जैसे आपने भी कहा कि एफिशिएंट इरिगेशन सिस्टम, तो हम सीरीज ऑफ वेबिनार कर रहे हैं अभी हाइड्रोपोनिक्स, उसकी एक छोटी सी कड़ी है। मतलब हमारे आगे 10-12 हमारा प्लान है कि हम वेबिनार ऑर्गेनाइज करेंगे और डिफरेंट एस्पेक्ट्स ऑफ एग्रीकल्चर पे करेंगे। जैसे आज हाइड्रोपोनिक पे किया है, इसी तरह नेक्स्ट वेबिनार हम हाई एफिशिएंट इरिगेशन सिस्टम पे करेंगे, फिर आईओटी पे करेंगे। तो ये सीरीज अभी जो कि हमारा टॉपिक है, ये एक छोटा सा सेगमेंट हाइड्रोपोनिक था, तो उसमें आपने काफी कुछ सर बयान कर दिया। तो दूसरा आपका जो क्वेश्चन था कि इसमें ऑर्गेनिक फर्टिलाइजर की ये सेप्टिक कंडीशंस पे ना उसमें ऑर्गेनिक फर्टिलाइजर में चांसेस होते हैं कि पैथोजन इमीडिएट ना हो जाए। बाकी हमारे साथ ये बैठे हुए हैं, खुद एंटरप्रेन्योर हैं इस हाइड्रोपोनिक्स में, ये ज्यादा बेहतर आपको गाइड कर सकेंगे।
सर मैडम फातिमा जो काम कर रही है, aquaponics is more on the organic front. उसमें ज्यादातर ऑर्गेनिक न्यूट्रिएंट सोर्सेज है। हाइड्रोपोनिक्स में जो मीडिया बेस जो मैं करता हूँ उसके अंदर भी ऑर्गेनिक सोर्सेज ऑफ केमिकल्स आर यूज्ड एंड नॉर्मल जो स्ट्रेट फर्टिलाइजर्स होते हैं वो भी हम यूज करते, दोनों वर्ड। इट डिपेंड्स ऑन ऑफ कोर्स यील्ड में फर्क आता है एंड आई थिंक towards about 20 to 30% drop आता है yield में in terms of organic and conventional fertilizers, but easily available and but have to make sure that we are ensuring that the organic sources are safe for human consumption, because normally जो लोग आजकल पाकिस्तान में करते भी हैं, if they want to make an organic fungicide they might use dishwashing soap या something like liquid soap like that when they're making fungicides. So at times उसमें थोड़ा सा issue आता है कि is this actually safe for human consumption or not?
ये सर मार्केट में अवेलेबल है, प्लांट एक्सट्रैक्ट को यूज करते हैं एज अ फंजीसाइड, वो भी अवेलेबल है, ऑर्गेनिकली भी की जा सकती है।
आई थिंक एक जो चीज है ना जो उन्होंने पॉइंट रेज किया, आई थिंक द पॉइंट व्हिच आई रियली वांट टू हाईलाइट कि ये सेशन वाज जस्ट अ सब कंपोनेंट on जो ना हाइड्रोपोनिक्स के ऊपर क्वेश्चन बिल्कुल दिस इज अ ब्रॉडर कैनवस के ऊपर जब भी सवाल करते हैं तो undoubtedly climate smart agriculture is one of the key areas where we are much more interested. But मेरा जो उस पे concern होगा कि this is the 80% which you have just highlighted. Hydroponics may be या इस तरह की जो भी technologies हैं, that may be 20% of the whole picture. But I think we need that kind of diversity in our systems, in terms of our discussions, in terms of our planning, that we should put all these things together and then effectively develop around it. So I think for urban areas with limited space, even अभी ये जो आपने एक बात की कि आप solar पे काम कर रहे हैं, I think the land it requires for solar installation, वो एक I think that's also costly thing urban areas. Rural के अंदर you have enough land which is cheaper, but अगर आप एक solar farm इधर लगाना चाहें which is very expensive. So, but water की utility जो urban areas में that is altogether different. So the idea around this whole thing is just not like discouraging. If we are talking hydroponics, it's not discouraging the overall, say for example, drip irrigation, sprinkler irrigation. अगर आप ये कहेंगे कि solar based irrigations. So we are not discouraging any of this. The whole idea is like, what are the other alternatives? How we can sort of develop some hybrid systems around it and then develop our systems all together to build next level of all these things. So I think mostly we get stuck in this kind of discussions, like we should not discuss this or discuss that. But I think it's just like an overall thing which I thought, and when we were discussing with the team, that these are some of these areas we should start exploring maybe down the line in 3 years, 5 years, 10 years time. That will be something bigger, or maybe it achieves the economies of scale, and then it's way more implementable than some of these other things. So that's my take on this, that yes, we agree that the climate smart agriculture is the future that we are looking forward to, and everything in it, like it's not just one thing. This is just one component out of maybe thousands of components that goes into it. And maybe in terms of drought tolerant, say for example, seeds are one of the examples that also should be discussed. So every aspect should be discussed, and then we should look into low-hanging fruits. That these are 3 areas we should pick, and I think these webinars will help us to look into that discussion, which or public discussions be, that is just helping us, like, let's pick this part and start working on it. And with a very limited resources, we can get major benefits and more impact out of this whole thing. So that is the strategy we are putting in place right now. And then we'll move forward with that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Energy utilization in agriculture sector is one of the major input in agriculture industry that defines the economy or profitability of farmer. So we can't escape this crucial segment in agriculture practices. Agriculture is a very vast subject actually. We are taking a little single coherent aspect right now, but when in this series of webinar, you will explore a lot of opportunities other than this small segment. Oh, thank you very much, all of you, for joining and giving your precious time, making time for this segment.
Ansab, I'd like to add a few things, if
Sure.
you don't mind, if we have enough time.
Question भी है, I think.
And I think someone has a question as well.
This is Dr. Saida from Peshawar University. Although I'm not an agricultural expert, I'm an environmentalist because I belong to Department of Environmental Sciences, University of Peshawar. One thing I want to add that in water productivity is a very important issue, and we should think over it. I think in Punjab, other areas, there has been done a lot of work on water productivity. In KP, we also started water productivity, and there are several other. You talked about the solar irrigation. There are hybrid methods of irrigations, which we are now considering in Peshawar, in KP, in agriculture areas of KP. So far, I have knowledge because there is a climate change center in Agriculture University, in Peshawar University, and we are thinking about the climate change issues, which are now burning issues and which is very much affecting the agriculture productivity, our crops, our soil, water availability, and various pollution, which are affecting the agriculture output. So these are, so I want to just add about the water project. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. इसमें you can add something more, only not water productivity. We can jump to the energy productivity as well. So it will be great. Have a meeting with you. If you come to Islamabad, please do visit our office, and we could have a good catch up and discussion on this. Thank you.
So when the presentations were really informative, and one thing that I took out from hydroponics is that everyone kept on saying that it's a little energy intensive. So when we're looking at a climate controlled environment, in a place like Pakistan, I do recognize that we're affected by climate change and we're really vulnerable to climate change as well. But we still sit within the boundary of climate, weather patterns, rain and drought, where we can grow a wide variety of crop all year round. So we've got, I would say, close to everything that can be produced in the world, we can produce it in Pakistan. So my question is for Dr. Arshad Nawaz. I wanted to ask him, is it extremely necessary to have a climate controlled environment for hydroponics to work? Because if that's not the case, then we don't have to focus on year-round production of, let's say, tomatoes. We can focus on rotation of different crops in hydroponics without having a climate controlled environment where we don't have to expend a lot of energy per kilogram and then ultimately increasing the price of the particular commodity that we're growing. What I wanted to ask was, is it possible to adapt this technology and have a marriage of this technology with your conventional farming, which could enhance the existing agriculture practices that we have in Pakistan and eventually reduce the reliance on energy that we are currently facing with, I'd say, hydroponics? Perhaps use more energy with conventional farming, but then increase the yield as well, and then overall reduce the watt per kilogram requirement, I would say. And that would align with NEECA's mandate of using less energy and producing more goods as well. So, Dr. Arshad, if you'd like to shed some light on this, is having a climate control environment highly necessary for hydroponics to work? Dr. Arshad is with us.
Hello, are you listening?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. As you said, how controlled environment increase yield. I have given you the example of our farms that if in normal tunnel, if you grow 10 ton of tomatoes in 1 acre, in controlled environment we can multiply it by 15. We have got a yield of 162 tons from 1 acre from hydroponic controlled environment. So,
but Dr. Saab, does that not also increase the sorry, I'm cutting you off. Dr. Saab, does that not also increase the price per kilogram of the produce as well? Because in the little research that I've done on this, I don't have the immense education or the experience that you have in this field. But when I dabbled into this back in 2016, we realized that growing tomatoes in a conventional farm would cost us around 4 rupees per kilogram. And growing it in a controlled environment, the same tomato was costing us 16 rupees per kilogram. So it's a fourfold increase in the price. And ultimately, that makes us less competitive in the regular markets, and which is also why जो ज़रक साहब ने भी एक example दिया था Hyderabad farm का, उन्होंने ये बात की थी कि their product was not competitive in the market anymore. तो मेरा इसके अंदर यही था कि if it's not competitive, and it's also energy intensive. इसके अंदर कोई इस तरह की हमने रिसर्च की भी है कि हम कहीं कह सकें कि वॉट पर किलोग्राम रिक्वायरमेंट कितनी है इसमें, वॉट पर किलोग्राम रिक्वायरमेंट कन्वेंशनल फार्मिंग में कितनी है, and then ultimately how much of that wattage per kilogram can we move towards renewable or green sources of energy, जिसकी वजह से हम एक तो नीका के मैंडेट को भी सर्व कर पाए कि हम ग्रिड से रिलायंस हटाएं इसकी फार्मिंग की, एंड हम कार्बन फुटप्रिंट भी अपना छोटा कर पाए।
जी
सर
आपने जो बात की है ना कि टोमेटो की जो कास्ट की आप बात कर रहे हैं ना, तो ये इस तरह से है कि इसमें हाइड्रोपोनिक में हम चेरी टोमेटो और हाई वैल्यू कैश क्रॉप्स हम ग्रो करते हैं। नॉर्मल टोमेटो जो है प्लम और ये जो लोकल वैरायटीज ये हम इसमें ग्रो नहीं करते, और इनका रेट जो है मिनिमम 1000 पर केजी हम मार्केट में सेल कर रहे हैं। तो इट जनरेट्स ह्यूज प्रॉफिट, not only the yield but in terms of cost there is no match with the local controlled local जो आप कहते हैं जी इसमें टनल जो है उसमें अगर ग्रो कर रहे हैं। तो दूसरा ये वैरायटीज जो होती हैं इसमें स्पेशल सीड, सारा सीड इंपोर्टेड सीड हम इसमें इस्तेमाल करते हैं, कैप्सिकम का भी और इसका भी। ये हाई वैल्यू कैश क्रॉप होती हैं, ये रिटर्न इसका बहुत ज्यादा है। बहुत सारे फार्मर, अब यहाँ पे चक्री में एक फार्म है 3.5 एकड़ का, इस साल उन्होंने सिर्फ कैप्सिकम की और मार्केट में डिमांड ज्यादा थी तो 1400 रुपये पर केजी उन्होंने सेल की है, एंड दे जनरेट ह्यूज प्रॉफिट फ्रॉम दिस, एंड दे हैव द लोकल स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ hydroponic. They just planned irrigation system and covered with sheets, not too costly structures. Around 27 lakh per acre they prepared the local structure, and they got the margin 1400 per kg of capsicum. तो इन ये आप कह सकते हैं कि इसका प्रॉफिट जो है वो मैचलेस है। कोई भी क्रॉप आप ग्रो करें, लेकिन स्पेशल क्रॉप्स होती हैं जो हाई वैल्यू कैश क्रॉप्स हैं, जैसे चेरी है, हम ब्लूबेरी हम कर सकते हैं। कंट्रोल्ड एनवायरनमेंट में आप हर किस्म की क्रॉप ग्रो कर सकते हैं। इवन सम फार्मर अब जो है फॉडर ग्रो कर रहे हैं इस पे कि जी दे हैव अ बिग फार्म, उसके साथ उन्होंने एक छोटा सा हाइड्रोपोनिक लगा के वहां पे वो अपना फॉडर कंटिन्यूअसली ग्रो कर रहे हैं और उनको दे आर अर्निंग टू मच।
थैंक यू।
जी सर।
कोई और पार्टिसिपेंट कोई क्वेश्चन करना चाह रहा हो?
Sir, I would like to share a thought here.
Please.
May I? Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. So the question that he asked about market competitiveness. So I want to answer here that here basically the technology, the amalgamation of aquaculture, hydroponics, that is aquaponics comes in, because I understand the concern that टमाटर और ये चीजें जो है बहुत सस्ती मिलती हैं, तो लोग क्यों खरीदेंगे aquaponics और hydroponics setups? So that is where, according to research, aquaponics comes in, because then we can move on to fungi culture and mushrooms. Edible mushrooms are getting higher in demand according to research in Pakistan, especially ये जो आपके hotels है, for instance, Movenpick, Serena, Marriott, etc. If you look at their kitchens and look at their demands, if you talk to them, they say that yes, we need value-added organic mushrooms and then honey. So if we move on in parallel, also start working on aquaponics farming, so market competitiveness वाला factor वहाँ cater हो जाता है. So that's what I wanted to say. And the other participant that he said कि हम water irrigation efficiency की तरफ नहीं जाते, वो वाली जो चीज बात कर रहे थे. So here I want to add, this is where basically technologies like aquaponics and hydroponics come in, because I have met farmers जो कहते हैं कि बंजर जमीन के ऊपर हम खुला पानी छोड़ देते हैं उसको दोबारा रिवाइव करने के लिए. Now how inefficient is that कि पानी की पहले ही इतनी कमी है और आप बंजर जमीन को सिर्फ रिवाइव करने के लिए पानी छोड़ रहे हैं. That is not the solution. Go towards more circular techniques जहाँ पे पानी रिसाइकल हो के बंजर जमीन पे ही आप सेटअप बना रहे हैं और पानी को रिसाइकल कर रहे हैं. So instead of just doing flood irrigation, move on towards circular economy techniques. That's what I wanted to add.
थैंक यू वेरी मच। हम कंक्लूड करते हैं सेशन को और उसके लिए मैं रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा मैनेजिंग डायरेक्टर नीका एक तो थैंकिंग रिमार्क्स दे दें, कुछ इंसाइटफुल आइडियाज के बारे में भी सर आप अपना व्यू दें।
Thank you, Ji. I think it's a very good session, and all the participants, especially the presenters, and I think very good discussion we have around it. I think definitely what the point comes to my mind and from this discussion that जो इसकी economics है, that how it works around, and I think in a number of ways, then with the way we are looking कि बहुत सारी ऐसी चीजें हैं. Initially when we start it's very expensive, but when we reach to economies of scale, I think the price factors, the availability, the access, that all together, because from farm to market, and then especially the access to urban centers, I think that is additional cost that also जब आप incorporate करते हैं उसके अंदर, and a number of other initiatives, I think that plays a very vital role. So understanding that aspect is one important thing to consider. I think second, we have already been sort of, when we talk about efficiency, so we are talking about crop per drop. जी कितना पानी चाहिए एक फसल के लिए. I think another aspect which we are very much interested, either whatever the use of water we are discussing about, like how much energy maybe watt per drop, that is another aspect we are interested to understand. Even in our agriculture sector, the way we are using the diesel pumps and electric pumps and solar pumps, and then we are doing all this जो irrigation techniques we use, I think that is also important aspect, like how if that is a surface water available which is shallow, we can understand like how cheap it is, but when you are going for these pumps and drilling that water, I think that is altogether a new cost add to it. Similarly, I think in domestic consumption of water in urban centers or even rural centers, again the same question mark. Okay, we are using water motors, and जब दांत भी साफ कर रहे होते हैं, shaving भी कर रहे हैं, बाकी भी चीजें, and how much we are using, and how much, in fact, we are not wasting water, but in fact we are wasting energy. So every single second, the amount of water from the tap is going down the drain. It is not actually the water going down the drain. It's the energy cost which we are paying to वो जो टैंकी से ऊपर छत वाली टैंकी में पानी पहुंचाते हैं, that is one thing. And आपके घर तक जो पहुंचता है, जो municipality is spending a lot of money to make this water available. And I think also the price of water, that we are not understanding, like this is like a free resource available with us. We're not trying to understand like what should be the true market price for it. And then if we start developing things around it, this will be way more different in this context. And I think it's very simple to understand, not right now, but maybe down the line, 3-5-10 सालों में, we have to price the water. And that pricing will then bring this efficiency. And I think then all these solutions that we are just talking right now, they will be more applied. They will be more what we will be looking forward to. And currently, जिसका जितना दिल है पानी इस्तेमाल करे, flood irrigation करे, sprinkler use ना करे, fine. But ultimately, I think we foresee in a near future, we'll be definitely moving in that direction. And once, I think the same is happening in energy sector. पहले एक टाइम था जब आपको हाइडल इलेक्ट्रिसिटी मिलती थी, डैम से बिजलियां बनती थी 90s का एरा में. So we were using electric heaters, means in number of spaces. So now with the increase in price, which reflects the true market price, I think people are very much cautious, like how efficiently they use their appliances. They have changed their life cycle, life practices, and a lot of it. The same goes here. Like I believe that once, if there is any movement in the future, So we'll be very much cautious that how effectively we should utilize water. And then these technologies will definitely help us to build around it. And I think we are sort of in transition stage as of right now, that moving into that direction. So I'll appreciate all the participants, especially the researchers. I think I can just tell you this one simple thing, maybe just wait for 3 to 5 years and then you will be highly in demand for this area, because we can see this from a number of perspectives, statistics and details, that the kind of discussions we are doing right now, it seems very infancy, small, nascent things. But down the line, it seems like this is the future. And there are success cases, as I think Arshad Nawaz Sahab mentioned. So we can see this is happening. And early movers are always the one who can get benefit out of it. So with this, thank you. Thank you very much and have a good day.
थैंक यू वेरी मच। हमने एक वेब पेज बनाया हुआ है, लिंक्डइन पे भी प्रोफाइल है नीका, और इसी तरह से फेसबुक पेज भी है हमारी। चूंकि ये सीरीज कंडक्ट हो रही है तो आप वहां से अपडेट्स हासिल कर सकते हैं। थैंक यू वेरी मच।
Thank you.
No,